So Quest was a project that we started about 8 years ago. I think on the back of a change in our business when we left Imperial and we unbundled to form EQSTRA. And it was really, I think, a system that was designed to fulfill our new strategy, which is to become an end-to-end fleet management provider. And we've been very happy with the results that we've had from it. You know, the impact of our conversion onto Quest was one of the things that we maybe underestimated. We knew it was going to be difficult, but I don't think we appreciated just how difficult it was. We took nearly 175,000 unique registrations off a platform that was quite unstructured into a very new system, which we broke a few rules in order to get those cases or activities to where they're meant to be, not as if they'd started on the new system. And I think that caused a lot of the challenges. And on the back of that, we called for a market survey where we went out and spoke to our customers and our suppliers last year, September, really with the idea of trying to understand where were they seeing the benefit, but equally where were the challenges that they were facing. And I think that the challenges that were highlighted was really around delays from a billing point of view. And really what we've done around that, I think every month we've got better at it. But what we did find is a lot of the data we brought over, certainly just after conversion, was clashing with the system. We'd forced it in, it hadn't come through a normal path where it would have been ironed out before it got into the system. So that caused, I think, a lot of the delays. And then obviously we'd have to go back, try and fix it, and that may impact billing again. I'm comfortable to say that I think we're through the worst of that. This last month again we might have had a problem because we had an interest rate decrease and a change in VAT, which is obviously not normal, but I think on the whole we are getting those out on time. I think the change as well was huge for our customers, and the lack of communication is a lesson we've taken. There's not much we can do with it now, but we have continued throughout the last year to try and improve our communication, to say this is where we are having problems. I think the big value for Quest for our customers now and in the future is really about consistency and data being able to be seen in context. I've got no doubt if I look at our SLAs, I can right now run a report of every person who reports to me in the business, including all the people who report to them, to see their performance against the service level agreement. Last year we were lucky if we were at 60% on SLA. We're now in the early 90s and still work to be done, but you can see a massive improvement. So customers can get to expect consistency, reports will be on time, they will be accurate once again because there is no interpretation before they're sent out. So that benefit is starting to come through. We're also rolling out our customer portal, which is something I think was raised in the survey as a concern from customers. As we had a portal in the past, with the new system they obviously lost that access. It was one of the elements we left behind because we were focusing really on dealing with the consequences of conversion. I'm very pleased to be able to say now that our portal, you can go in, you can view a case, you can look at the entire history of anything that's happened on that case. So the customer would really have as much knowledge as we do as to why a case is in the status it's in. They can see all the notes our staff have made, either calling the driver, calling the supplier, so they get a really good picture of where they are. We've also allowed them to add vehicles, obviously for managed contracts. They can add vehicles, they can update their driver details, they can confirm who the driver was on a specific fine, and they can move drivers between vehicles between cost centers. The customers will very shortly see that they can really self-service their entire fleet via the portal, get their reports via the portal, and see at a moment's glance where they are in a process. But we've also built 5 smartphone apps, which I think we're at a point now we're ready to roll out. The one two we're using internally is the one to deliver documents to our customers, all signed for on the app. So we know when the license disc or the fuel card was delivered and to whom. So that was a key element for us. We've also got an app which we use for doing vehicle inspections when we collect a vehicle at end of lease. And that's had a huge benefit because we always end up with exactly the same condition report with the same details, not people interpreting how to do a condition report themselves. 2 apps we want to roll out in the short term is roadside assistance and reporting an accident via the app for the driver. And the next one that we want to roll out shortly thereafter is the ability for the driver to confirm service scheduling for his vehicle. The app will actually get an instruction to say it's due for a service, he'll confirm his ODO. If he's happy, we'll ask him to choose 2 suppliers in the area that's convenient for him or her. They could choose a supplier, that will send it through to the Supplier Portal where they can confirm the booking, and all of that's done seamlessly. Yeah, just to add on what we did with the survey, we were actually quite pleased with that initial survey, given it was September, it hadn't even been a full year, and we had about 81% of the customers saying they either saw good value, okay value, or they saw some value coming, which we felt was quite good for that sort of time frame. we've really had much more positive feedback in the latter part of last year and in the early part of this year, as customers are starting to get used to the way the system works, and as we've addressed all the issues that were raised in that survey. So it's a much more positive sort of feedback that we're getting from clients, and we believe it's because over time, as we fixed issues during 2017, those are not coming back again, which is quite unique in our business. In the past, when we were doing a lot manually, you'd think you'd fix something and it would come and surprise you in a couple of months. Here, we're not getting that feedback because we're doing it programmatically. So we really, I think customers will see that benefit only growing as we go forward. Well, I think the big thing that we saw with the supplier survey, which we also ran at the same time that we did the customer survey, were the complaints that we would have expected post a conversion, in that there was delayed payments. I think it was taking them a long time to get through to our call center. I think there was, and many suppliers quite rightly said, well, we're not seeing the benefit of the new system. I think what we're saying to those suppliers is, if you take a view on where we come as a business, we've been in this game for over 35 years. I've been with the company over 22. This is the first time that we believe we're in a direction of ironing out issues. And suppliers' view needs to look at, if we're delivering real value to our customers, and we're getting the turnaround, the reports more accurate, we're going to grow, and with that, the suppliers have an opportunity to grow with us. But it does mean that the supplier needs to perform in line with our expectations, because ultimately we don't deliver to the customer. We've got 600 staff, but we've got 7,000 suppliers that are out there. So we are reliant in many instances on those suppliers. And really what we're trying to do is, again, move away from managing our business on email and move into managing it on the portal. We have rolled out our Supplier Portal as a sort of imperative. We did it actually before we rolled out the customer portal. And that was because we knew on the new system it took longer to capture a job card. What it now allows a supplier to do is that they can capture the job card on the portal, submit it, and when it comes through our call center, our turnarounds are much quicker because we're not sitting on the telephone together trying to capture sometimes a job card that could be 5 or 6 pages. So I think the delays we had on payment in the past was a function of stuff that had been in the business on the old system, and as we came over, weren't available for us to process. And I think I've spoken to many suppliers over the last couple of months. They've seen a massive improvement from where we were even in September, and certainly where we were early last year. I also think that suppliers are now starting to see, and our customers, that benefit once you pass the fear of change. And that's what happened. We suddenly, new documents turn up with customers. What do I do? What am I meant to do? We're all into that process now. And I'm not sure there was how much better we could have done it. I'm sure we could have done it much better, but in my experience with this, change is always going to cause a lot of pain. And then once we're through that, it becomes the way we are. And I can see it with our staff. I can see them using the cases properly, making much better notes than we were. Our customers know what to do. Our suppliers know what to do. And we've continued to invest significantly, well beyond any budgeted number, to ensure that the bugs that we found during the conversion were ironed out as quickly as possible. So the Supplier Self-Service Portal has been live since last year. So we had it in by, I'd say, December. Again, change takes time, but the suppliers we've seen who've converted onto it absolutely love it. So the vehicle would arrive, they log into the portal, they put in the reg, they find the contract. They would then say, what is the work that needs to be done, i.e. they'd log the one side of the job card, submit it. Our guys would go, yes, no, we'd agree around the price and the time frame for the repair. We would then issue the purchase order. We see our suppliers as an extension of our service, and we will be allocating more and more work to those suppliers which have the right BE credentials, which is obviously a big drive across any business in South Africa at the moment. But equally, those suppliers who deliver on-time quality service, and where we get a solid rating from the driver and or the fleet manager based on their experience with that supplier of it out. We're now busy rolling out the portal to our accident repairers. We will then follow that with rolling it out to our new vehicle suppliers, the people who actually sell us assets in a procurement case. And from there, we intend to roll it out to whether it's an assessor, whether it's a third-party supplier, whether it's somebody who's doing towing for us. We want to get all of our suppliers working on the portal. It's much easier for them to self-service, and I think if you look to 7,000 suppliers and only 80 people in the call center, you're going to have the same thing. So we believe that will speed the turnaround time, and those suppliers who partner with us will be paid on time, will be paid as per agreement, and will see the benefit of growing volume. And I think we'll see that those suppliers who partner and work with us will see massive benefit, because if you look at the fleet market, only really about 20 to 30% of it is currently serviced in South Africa. There's a huge opportunity for managed services across the 1.1, 1.2 million vehicles in the corporate fleet park.